As part of the continuous effort for Vision Hospitality Group to be the best, most respected hotel company in America, TripAdvisor is incredibly important to use because according to SocialTap, TripAdvisor has over 320 million reviews from all around the world, and that makes it the largest review hub on the internet. With so many candid reviews that cost nothing to us, it can be extremely helpful and a viable source to receive that candid feedback. And you can use this feedback to improve all qualities of your hotel or property to establish the best guest service possible. Before I discuss the key elements of excellent responses in detail, I'm going to read through them very quickly. Respond to reviews promptly. Always practice professionalism. Keep your responses short, but also keep them detailed. Say thank you to your guests. Try to avoid sounding like a robot in your response. Proofread before you submit your response. Be proud of your reputation. Show empathy, and invite your guests back. Per Vision's policy, we need to respond to every TripAdvisor review within 48 hours after receiving them. However, it's a good rule of thumb to respond to every review within 24 hours of receiving them. Since we all know that hotels are 24/7 operations, there can always be somebody monitoring incoming reviews. My second key point is to always practice professionalism. Sometimes we receive reviews that we don't really care for. Maybe they have negative words, or the guest is describing a bad experience they may have had at your property. But it's always important not to take these reviews personally. Try to keep in mind how important it is to maintain your professionalism, and that every single one of your responses builds your property's reputation. Try to avoid first-person responses. Make the response as if it's a collective response from the entire staff, since after all, it is a team effort to operate a hotel. Note in my examples below how I replace the words I and my team to we and our team. And to follow that is another key point. Show empathy. When you do receive negative reviews and there's a negative point made by the reviewer, acknowledge each point in order that it is given so the reviewer can see that you paid close attention to their concerns. When acknowledging a poor review, begin the response with an apology for the lack of service that they experienced, even if sometimes you don't agree. For example, on behalf of our staff, I sincerely apologize for, or we regret to hear that our service was lacking during your stay. Never question the reviewer's experience in the response. If something sounds illegitimate or absolutely crazy, offer the reviewer to reach out to you via email to discuss their experience further. This will also give you some time to research the guest experience with your staff further. I've placed an example of something I've used before. Please contact me directly at my email to discuss your experience and identify how we can make this right for you. Here's another example of a negative review. Although this reviewer may not have experienced the property's standard operating procedure for a normal check-in, it lets them know that the lack of service was not purposeful, and the response still includes an apology, and it also includes an explanation. Especially when you receive a negative review, it's important to take pride in your property's reputation. This example shows another way that you can let your reviewer know that their experience was not one that your property will typically provide. While it's important not to take reviews personally, you can still make your responses personal. Never let your response seem as if it's cut and pasted or pre-made. It is acceptable to reuse responses, but try not to use the same response within 10 or so reviews. Everyone in the world can see every response that is published. So even if you just switch up a few words, it still shows that you took the time to personally create a response to each review. Note in the examples below how I used some of the same words, but they're still different. Another extremely important key point is to proofread everything. Since TripAdvisor does not have spell or grammar check, it's really important and crucial that you take the time to double and triple check everything you've typed. A trick I've used in the past is to type my responses in Microsoft Word and then copy and paste it into the response area. By doing this, you can also keep a file of your response templates, which will help you with your response time. If you're really unsure, send them in an email to one of your peers or someone you trust to proof it for you. And something I always do is read everything out loud before I hit submit. That just helps you make sure nothing sounds off or crazy. To close, it's really important that you always say thank you and invite your guests back, regardless of the type of review. Acknowledge and appreciate that each guest took the time to provide feedback to you. Invite negative reviewers to reach out to you via email, like I've said before, to discuss more details, and you can also discuss service recovery options. By inviting a negative reviewer back, you may just win them over because this provides a chance to provide the guest a more pleasant experience. You can add another personal touch to this by suggesting they reach out to you directly to make their next reservation. Those are my key points to an excellent TripAdvisor response. To go through them one more time, respond to your reviews promptly. Always practice professionalism. Keep it short, but also keep it detailed. Say thank you. Avoid sounding like a robot in your response. Proofread before you submit your response. Be proud of your hotel's reputation. Show empathy to your guests, and always invite them back. Thanks, everybody.